Hey guys, Avi here from musicalengineering.net. Today I just want to go over how to create a template in Logic Pro X. These templates are basically in every DAW, so no matter what DAW you're using, you're going to be able to do this. And it will be pretty much the same exact process that you see here today. So first things first, let's click on Logic Pro and get started. Since Logic Pro is already open for me, what I'm going to do is click on File and New. We have the pop-up that we normally see. Now, why it's so important to create a template is because, say you have that inspiration in your brain and you want to get it onto the DAW as fast as possible. So what you can do is by setting up a template for yourself that you can pretty much know you're going to use every time you record a song. You can add in the drums, add in the bass, add in the guitar tracks, the vocal tracks, add all this stuff in. You can even start setting up a little bit of your signal flow and a little bit of your buses just to make the entire process that much smoother. So let's just jump right in now, shall we? First thing I'm going to do is going to click on audio, and I'm going to create 6 audio tracks. Right here, you can set it says number of tracks. You can click exactly how many you want. So I just created 6 tracks. Double click on the name to rename the tracks. So I'm going to start renaming them. Vox for vocals. Vox harm. Another Vox harm. Then say guitar left. Guitar right. Then lead guitar. So I know that in every single one of my songs, I'm going to have guitar parts, I'm going to have, almost all the time, I'm going to have a vocal part and a vocal harmony, and I'm going to have a lead guitar part. In every single song, I know that, so like 99% of the time, that's going to happen, so I might as well put it on in there. Next, I'm actually going to add one more track. I did 6, so I guess my magic number is 7 for the bass guitar. So next, I'm going to go onto a software instrument. I use Superior Drummer for my drums, and it's hooked up to an electric drum set of Roland TD9. So what I'm going to do is going to set up that entire process. Go down to MIDI instrument, AU instruments, tune track, Superior Drummer. Now that's all there and ready for me. Let's take a look at that, take a listen to that. Okay, so I have my stock setting. Let's take this, make that drums. And what happens with the software instruments every time, because it's a preset that it comes up, what you want to do is hit the mixer button here. And when you bring up a software instrument, because of that classic electric piano, it's going to bring up these 2 little buses. I don't want them there because the Superior Drummer has a bleed option, which basically bleeds them all together and makes all the drum samples sound like they're in the same room, and I can reverb it on top of that and control that bleed level, so that all these different reverbs right now are just kind of gonna get in the way more than they're gonna help. And you just click on it and hit delete. That's all you do. So this is basically it. What I like to do on top of this is put the click track in there and the stereo out in there. So what you do to do that is you click on all in the mixer window. If you click on the click section, which now pops up, you can right click it and then click create track. That creates a click track right there. And you can do the exact same thing for stereo out. And now stereo out is going to be locked at the bottom of the screen there. This is basically it, honestly. The only thing I will do aside from this is maybe add a bus for Vox reverb, and that's about it for the vocal reverb. But before I do that, I want to go over how to make this look a little bit nicer and a little bit more welcoming to the eye aesthetically for where all the instruments are. Now this stuff is all totally optional. You don't have to do it. But I find that it actually creates a sense of aesthetic pleasure and organization in the recording process. So first thing I'm going to do is change these icons to their corresponding instruments. Hover over, click, right-click it. That's it. So these are drums. Let's go to drum section, drum set. That's all I'm doing right now. For bass, bass guitar, guitar. The guitars I actually make different icons because that actually helps remind me during the recording process to record these guitars with different sounds on them. I like to do that because it creates a sense of depth in the guitar parts themselves. Because when you have a bunch of the same sound on the guitar part, especially on the lead guitar, never use the same guitar sound or the lead guitar as your rhythm guitars. Because what you're doing is by changing up what equipment you're using. Say if you're doing this on a pedal or an amp, you're changing amps, changing pedal selection or a channel setting on one of those big pedal things, or even in here with the amp simulator, you use different settings, and that decreases the chance of frequency masking, which is basically when you have a bunch of frequency information happening all at the same time and in the same place in the spectrum, and it is masking itself and creating a very muddy, a very unclear and obscure sound. So by using different guitar sounds for all the parts, you're actually helping yourself later, or helping that mix engineer later, by not having to do such drastic EQ carving or any other processing in order to make it fit better. You're actually creating a better arrangement while recording, and as we discussed in an earlier video, arranging can be the most important part of the entire process. So yeah, we're on lead guitar now, and we're gonna do a different little icon for that, because all it does is remind us to use a different guitar sound for each part. Now these Vox harms, since these are the same, I'm going to use the same. That was just shift and an arrow key right there, that's all I did. We're gonna use the same thing for that. Use those. For the main Vox, use that guy. So the second to last thing I do here is I like to give every track its own color. So all you have to do is right click on the tracks, and so for right here I actually have all these selected because I want them to all be the same color. You just click assign track color, and this is the color I like to put my Vox on. Lead guitar, I usually like to make purple, and this is all totally up to you. What this just helps with is organization. Rhythm guitar will be back here. I try and make them like really far apart, really stand out. Bass is red or orange. Drums I usually like to keep as green, or I'll put them in something like that, or something like this down here, yeah. And this is generally it. That's all I have to do. So now you set this up, and actually the last thing I will do is create a vocal bus. So what you want to do to create a vocal send is just click on sends here, click on bus 1, and that creates an auxiliary strip right here. And what this does is it's sending the audio signal from here, from this track, at a specific level that you dial in right here. And we'll dial this in to say 12 right now. That sends that signal to this auxiliary track that you can use for other kinds of processing. In this case, I'm putting on a reverb. I'm just putting on a stock setting, just something small, just a quick vocal plate, and I'd like to take down the low end of the vocal plates on vocals reverbs because it just kind of has no information there. Once we have our template set up, what we want to do to actually be able to get into this every time we go into Logic is you click on File, and this is going to be the same in any DAW. Click on File and then Save as Template. So now you can see I already have a songwriting template and a recording template. This is an old one. So I'm going to rename this songwriting tutorial template. Now this is basically the same one as my songwriting one, but for this sake, I'm saving it. And when you put that template in, you're gonna see that pop up every time. So now we saved it as a template. I'm gonna not save. We're out of Logic right now. So now we'll go into Logic. And we have our pop-up come up. And it's already on My Templates. It might be on New Project, and this is the other templates it has for you. You click on My Templates, and right there, Recording Template, Songwriting Tutorial Template, Songwriting Template. So let's click on it. And that's it. It's right there. We just start off. We just get going immediately. That's it. It's freaking sweet. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining me in this week's Power of the DAWside. Leave a comment below for any impressions, any ideas. Do you guys use templates when you're songwriting? Do you think you're going to after this video? Be sure to subscribe and sign up for the mailing list for exclusive access to these videos and articles and a ton of other resources that are coming out very soon, and they're already out. So I'll see you guys next time. Cheers from Avi at musicalengineering.net.